Coming up on Cronkite News, there may be a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, but the price of your holiday meal is likely not one of them. Find out how much your turkey is going to cost.
Plus, organizations have seen fewer donations this year because of inflation fears, but volunteers are stepping up to help during the busy holiday season.
And later, the Arizona Cardinals lost to the 49ers in Mexico City last night, and they're running out of time to save their season.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Haley Ziomek.
And I'm Jacob Flores. Thank you for joining us. Is Thanksgiving dinner your favorite meal? We'll get ready to shell out this holiday. Your favorite Thanksgiving staples are expected to cost 44% more this year than last year.
Cronkite News reporter Emily Miranda is in our Washington bureau with more on how inflation is impacting your Turkey Day dinner.
Turkey, pie, and stuffing are all essential parts of a traditional Thanksgiving meal. But this year, keeping up with tradition will cost Arizonans nearly $72 for a family of 10, says the Arizona Farm Bureau. That's up from a little less than $50 last year. And one Arizona farmer is feeling the impact as Thanksgiving approaches.
We're trying to keep our prices as low as we can, to still make a profit with our business. But, we're having to push our prices up, keeping pace with a lot of the larger grocery stores throughout the state.
The Farm Bureau says a 16-pound turkey will cost around $32, but it's not just turkeys. The Bureau says you'll pay $5 for sweet potatoes, $4 for rolls, and upwards of $10 for your favorite pies.
One of the things that surprised me about this year's market basket that I hadn't noticed before is that everything was up. Normally we have some items that are up and then some that are down.
The increase has been seen across the U.S., but Arizona has been particularly hard hit. Nationally, the cost for a Thanksgiving feast rose 20% and will be about $8 cheaper than in Arizona. This perfect storm is a combination of supply chain disruption, higher fuel and energy costs, labor shortages, and the avian flu, which killed over 8 million turkeys, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Our Thanksgiving turkeys have gone up $30 just this year per bird, which is pretty high when you think about, the cost of putting together a Thanksgiving dinner.
To beat the high prices, Arizonans are encouraged to use coupons, have everybody contribute to the meal, and look for in-season produce as a cheaper alternative.
Most of those leafy greens are coming from Yuma. So what that means is they're in season. They're literally harvesting them in the field today. And because they're in season, they're going to be a little bit more economical.
Experts say while you will pay the price this year, there is room for optimism as prices in 2023 are expected to drop. In Washington, Emily Miranda, Cronkite News.
For a full list of expected Thanksgiving prices and more tips on how you can save, head to Arizona Farm Bureau website at azfb.org.
While the prices of food strained family budgets this year, the idea of giving back hasn't dimmed. Traditionally, many families use this time together to volunteer for organizations. Isabella Fredrickson found out the season of giving is still strong.
As inflation remains high, local food banks say people and families across the valley are seeking assistance now more than ever. According to Feeding America, 1 in 9 people face hunger in Arizona.
We're seeing more families than we ever have before, about double the number of families that we've seen in a normal year.
That means not only more donations are needed, but more volunteers are needed too.
We need the community to step up, and the community is stepping up, but the need is so great that without the community support, we won't be able to keep serving the need that's here.
The holidays are the busiest time for food banks. They rely not only on their regular staff and volunteers, but also the surge of helpers during the holidays.
Sometimes there aren't spots for people to volunteer. There's too many volunteers than there are for spots. Then January comes along, we have plenty of spots and we don't have any volunteers. So if you're thinking about giving back to your food bank or another place like that, think about doing it after the holidays are over, because that's when they could really use your help.
The help extends beyond packing meals. Food bank leaders say they are also being hit by rising prices, and the donations received are noticeably lower than previous years.
We have many people who are regulars and would bring several turkeys, and they were saying with how high the turkey prices are and also how a lot of grocery stores were limiting to one turkey per person, they were only able to do so much.
Each Thanksgiving, Ryan Brown with Phoenix Rescue Mission says they collect hundreds of turkeys for their local food drive. However, due to inflation, they were 700 short of their goal this year.
This year our goal was 1,500 and we were only able to get 8, which is far less than we were able to get last year.
Although less food has been donated this season, the volunteers we talked to were passionate about the time they spent helping others. In Phoenix, Isabella Fredrickson, Cronkite News.
If you're thinking of volunteering at a local food bank, consider doing so in the new year. January through March is usually the time where they have the least amount of volunteers. According to the Secretary of State's office, Arizona counties have finished counting 100% of election ballots. More than 2,590,000 votes were cast.
Now the counties are legally required to certify those results, but as Jimena Vera tells us, 2 counties say they may delay that certification.
Cochise County with over 60% voter turnout and Mojave County with 56% voter turnout are delaying certifying the results of the election, partly to protest voting issues in Maricopa County. The delay comes as Maricopa County finished counting its remaining ballots Monday. According to state law, now that the counting is complete, the counties need to certify their elections by midnight on Monday, November 28th. A lawyer with an organization monitoring the election says there is no authority under state law for counties to refuse to canvass once all precincts results have been received.
That they just don't have the authority to refuse to certify the election. We can, possibly foresee that the states could jump into these boards of supervisors and compel them to certify the results. In the election code, it's a felony for knowingly acting in violation of Arizona election law.
According to the Associated Press, Mojave County supervisors said they intend to certify the results of the elections. Cochise County supervisors have not made the same promise. In the newsroom, Jimena Vera, Cronkite News.
Coming up after the break, it's been a nice, cloudy day here in the Valley, but will it last into the holiday? Isabella Fredrickson is in the Cronkite News Weather Center and will have your full forecast for Turkey Day. Plus,
you really cherish this community. The community really gives back to you.
Asian night markets have been popping up all over the U.S., but here in Arizona, one market is extending a special invitation to unique businesses.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Stream the best of PBS on any device with the PBS Video app. All your favorite drama, history, science, news, and documentaries, all in one place. Watch your PBS station live or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and locally produced shows from your station.
Sign in and start streaming today.
We're heading into the holiday season, and the weather is looking pretty good.
Isabella Fredrickson is in the Cronkite Weather Center to tell us if these conditions will continue. Isabella, what can we expect this Thanksgiving?
While the forecast on Thanksgiving Day is looking promising, some of the other days in this week's forecast are looking colder and cloudier. As we start off with our evening planner, we are only at 67 degrees by 6 p.m., and it will only get colder. Once we hit 9 p.m., the temperature is dropping below 60 degrees, and we'll be looking at temperatures in the high 50s the rest of the night. Now, with those falling temperatures, we will be seeing some cloud coverage and cloud activity across the state.
And as we move to our high temperatures in Arizona for tomorrow, we will be seeing a very wide range of temps. Our highest in Phoenix will be at 73 degrees, and our hottest will be down south in Yuma at 75 degrees. That coldest spot will be up north in Page at only 51 degrees. As we can get excited for Thanksgiving this week, expect clear sunny skies and temperatures around 73 degrees. Finally, as we look at our 8-day forecast, we will be expecting clear skies the next few days, but once we hit Sunday, we are going to be seeing that cloud coverage and cloud activity throughout the rest of the week. And we will be down to 63 degrees on Tuesday, and that will continue into Wednesday. Enjoy the clear sunny skies on Thanksgiving and those cooler temperatures to follow. Isabella Fredrickson in the Cronkite News Weather Center.
Thanks, Isabella. The Arizona Asian Chamber of Commerce recently hosted a large night market for the community.
This market aims to showcase first-year companies and new businesses to help establish them in the Valley. Cronkite News reporter Drake Presto was there, exploring the economic impact and foodie scene.
So the Asian District Night Market is in a sense, a foodie concert. So we bring by local entertainment that's a part of our community. We bring in 65 plus businesses into our event. It's pretty much just, again, a night out, right? It's all about creating that authentic feeling with the traditional night market, where it's pretty much just like a swamp meet with a bunch of food, a bunch of people circulating around and everything like that.
I got into this business in 2011 after working 15 years in corporate design, and I just had enough of it, and I wanted to cook for a living. Living with a large Filipino family, weekends was always a get-together, and cooking for large groups was something that I really enjoyed, even when I wasn't doing it professionally. And when I realized people actually genuinely enjoyed the food that I cooked, I made that decision to see if I could do it for a living. Self-taught, didn't go to culinary school. My mother taught me and inspires almost every dish that I make. A lot of times I'll cook something, trying to develop a certain flavor, and then later realizing that I'm chasing a kind of like a food memory from my childhood. I know. Doing the Asian District Night Market last year really exposed us and opened us up to a Filipino community that I knew was there, but I never got to meet them face to face. And at that first night market, they came out in droves, and it was overwhelming. We didn't expect the amount of love and appreciation that we got that night. Just from that one event, it kind of told me that I had found a new home.
When we first held it back in 2020, the first Asian District Night Market, we've seen the success that it brings and how much people love that event, that we want to be able to host it multiple times a year for everyone. It's not just a food festival, right, but it's more so of a community engagement where we create a business incubator for a lot of these businesses that are being a part of our event. So a lot of the businesses that we work with are ones that don't have a brick and mortar. They're in their first year, or even this is their first event that they're ever showcasing themselves in. So we use that as a way to continue growing that relationship with that businesses, and hopefully we can establish them inside our community within like the Asian District or just anywhere in the Valley.
Sort of. If you guys are hungry, just come find us right at the stage, okay? Just skip the line, I'm in the front. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Crafty 的特色，其实 crafty 是一个双关的意思，就是 it's like craft tea, so like we craft our own tea, and then it's also crafty, like arts and crafts. 然后就是主要我们的特色是想要 create 一些这边的 boba shop 没有的，然后一些比较 unique 的 items， 然后我们整个 menu 只有16个 drink， 然后但是我知道很多的店他们可能有50几个 item， 什么 flavor 都有。中文就是说无雷菜单，就是不会踩雷的，所有东西都很好喝。As we're starting out， 我们平常客人是没有那么多的，但是要 prepare 这么多客人的时候，就有很多的 issue， 比如说我们 stove 不够多。like 我们的 pot 一次就只能煮这么少，因为我们就是没有这么大的 capacity， 所以就要先买新的 stove， 然后要买新的锅子。我觉得亚利桑那的亚洲 community 是非常近，就是我一开始其实本来没有人知道我们，然后是有人帮我们发在一个 Arizona Asian foodie group。And then everyone was like, "Oh my God, I need to go try this place out." If you really like cherish this community, the community really gives back to you.
Cause time seems like it'd be right with someone like you by my side. And my heart's been hurt one too many times.
This first night for the weekend was an overwhelming success. People showed up. We had a thunderstorm blow through, raining cats and dogs. It didn't stop people. People just, they stood in line, they didn't move, they waited till the rain went away, and once we were able to start serving food again, we jumped right back into it. Can't stop, won't stop. The Asian District Night Market back in January, we sold out really quickly. And so this time I brought almost twice as much, but we sold out in about the same amount of time. It's a great festival. I do this every month.
The next Asian Night Market is planned for early 2023. For more information, go to the Asian Chamber of Commerce website.
I'm Joseph Hurtado. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. The Phoenix Suns paid tribute to the 22 Native American tribes with their City Edition jerseys and used a new color in the process.
You know, newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists. Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Joseph Hurtado. The Cardinals hosted the 49ers on Monday Night Football, but it wasn't a normal home game for Arizona. The two teams kicked off in Mexico City's Aztec Stadium. Cronkite News reporter Liam Barrett was there to catch the highs and lows of the must-win game for the Cards.
The Cardinals and 49ers were the first two teams to play in Mexico City in 2005, and their second matchup did not disappoint. Despite being a Cardinals home game, the Aztec Stadium was almost exclusively scarlet and gold. With Kyler Murray out, it was up to Colt McCoy and D-Hop to take on Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and the rest of the Niners gang. It was a back-and-forth first half, but the Niners dominated the rest of the way, winning 38-10. McCoy says it was a tough battle for the team.
Just a bummer we didn't find a way to win that game, but San Francisco played hard. They're a good football team, and we just didn't make enough plays.
It wasn't all bad for the Cards. J.J. Watt had plenty of fun hanging out with the Mexican crowd, tossing the ball back and forth with fans and eventually giving the ball out to a lucky fan. The Mexico City crowd was loud all game, even in the pregame warm-ups. If you can't hear behind me, it's a loud crowd in Mexico City. You can really tell that the Mexican fans have grown to be super passionate about these NFL teams. If it wasn't already known before, the fans at Aztec Stadium made sure the NFL knew they loved the game. The crowd exploded at every big play, especially when George Kittle and ASU alum Brandon Ayuk both scored a pair of touchdowns. Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury says that the experience in Mexico was great, despite the team's poor performance.
The atmosphere was incredible. They put on a great game, and the entire weekend was spectacular. I wish we could have performed better, but yeah, that was a great atmosphere for football.
The Cards were unable to pull off a win in the City of Palaces, but it was a great week for the NFL and its international fans. The team looks to bounce back in what's been a difficult season so far. The Redbirds hope to put Mexico behind them and look ahead towards the Chargers next week.
in Mexico City. Liam Barrett, Cronkite News.
The Suns host the Lakers tonight, and the game will be lacking some star power as Chris Paul is still out with a heel injury for the Suns, and LeBron James is nursing a groin injury. The Suns swept the Lakers last season and are 7-1 at home so far this year. Phoenix has looked to Cameron Payne to step in for Chris Paul, who has been out for 2 weeks. Payne has averaged nearly 20 points per game in his last 5 starts. LeBron James has been ruled out for tonight's game, making it the 5th straight game he's missed. It's no secret that the Suns will have a different game plan now with LeBron James on the sideline.
So they're a whole different team with them out there. Just that's 30 a night and 8 assists and 7 rebounds. Like that's definitely going to change the team. So him definitely got to scout different with them because he has the ball a little bit more.
Last week, the Suns donned their City Edition uniforms representing the culture and history of Phoenix. They'll be wearing them throughout the season. Cronkite News reporter Michael Donahue takes a closer look at the new jerseys and their ties to Native American heritage.
For Native Americans, reservation basketball, or resball, is a staple for the community.
Growing up on the reservation, basketball is everything. I mean, when I came to the Suns, I talked about how the ball brings us all together, and that's what this program's going to do.
For this year's City Edition uniforms, the Suns strayed away from their standard purple and orange, opting instead to honor Arizona's Native American tribes. But honoring thousands of years of heritage on a single jersey had its challenges.
There was a lot of guardrails on basically cultural usage. How are we representing these cultures in a way that is not appropriation or just borrowing concepts and using them to our advantage.
After 2.5 years of going through the design process, the Suns released the new uniforms. The turquoise color represents the protection stone. A traditional sidestep pattern lines the side of the jersey, and the word Sun can be seen in the 22 different tribal languages on a black stripe.
We had a very big focus on making sure everything we put into the uniform had a purpose and a story behind it that actually elevated the story of the Native communities. It helped tell their story rather than us interpreting their story.
An additional part of the jersey release was the launch of the Originative program, which aims to celebrate the 22 tribal nations of Arizona while also educating fans on the importance of Native culture.
It's very interesting to gain an understanding of the land that we're really living on and gain an understanding of kind of these people's culture and history.
For Martinez, who went from playing basketball with a sock and a shoebox to entering his 20th season working for an NBA team, this project almost felt like his destiny to complete.
I am so proud to be Navajo Diné from the Navajo Nation, being a part of this and able to say I had a big part in this whole process to make this come to life. It just means so much to me, and I'm glad Graham reached out to me because it was meant to be. It just kept slowly building, and I slowly got here, and I finally made it home.
This year, the Suns won't just be representing a city, but rather a collection of 22 nations whose significance reaches far beyond the borders of Arizona. In Phoenix, Michael Donahue, Cronkite News.
The Suns plan on wearing the City Edition uniforms 10 times at home and another 7 times on the road in cities with large indigenous peoples population. Arizona basketball is in Hawaii for the Maui Invitational. They handled Cincinnati in the quarterfinals last night. Azulis Tubelis and Omar Ballo dominated inside as the 14th-ranked Wildcats outran the Bearcats 101-93. Arizona shot an incredible 79% from the field in the second half. The Wildcats are on to the semifinal against 17th-ranked San Diego State at 8:30 p.m. One undefeated team will fall tonight. That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Joseph Furtado. Back to you, Jacob.
Still ahead on Cronkite News, holiday fun for the whole family. When and where you can get in the holiday spirit with lions, tigers, and bears.
Ain't no time for imitation, ain't no time for playing. I'm just gonna do me.
You know what I'm saying?
Try to stay out of trouble.
Where's the fun in that?
You know how ladies can be.
I'ma do what I do.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
and develop your skills with the latest technology.
Do you need some family entertainment over the holidays? How about one that'll light up your night?
The Phoenix Zoo is holding its annual Zoo Lights starting tomorrow. One major attraction is a 50-foot LED Christmas tree. And we have a time lapse of it being built. There's also a lake light show, over 50 animal lanterns, and your tickets include admission to dinosaurs in the desert and a visit with Santa. The zoo is also offering sensory-friendly zoo lights in January. That's it for Cronkite News tonight.
Thank you for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.